to Girl Talk. I'm Nicole D. Miller, author, blogger, speaker, hybrid book publisher, and your host. At Girl Talk, we are a safe space for female leaders to engage in healing and edifying conversation. This is your Me Too, empathetic corner, where we have authentic and transformative dialogue designed to uplift and connect high-achieving women like you. Are you looking for a safe space to cultivate sisterhood with other like-minded female bosses? Leave your cape at the door and join the conversation. Hi guys, and welcome to Girl Talk One-on-One. I'm your host, Nicole D. Miller. As I mentioned at the end of our last conversation, we've been doing one-on-one chats with our panelists prior to each panel discussion. This upcoming segment will feature 3 of our panelists for dealing with grief at the holidays: Jamia Lewis, Ms. Gloria Terry, and Butter Khan. Feel free to tap into the show notes for any of their contact info. During the first 2 interviews, I was having some phone issues, so unfortunately we don't have the full chats. But I figured you guys will still get some nuggets and can learn more about our guests by listening. If for some strange reason you missed dealing with grief at the holidays, you will definitely want to run it back. So get ready for Girl Talk One-on-One. Grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation.
My name is Jamia Lewis. I'm an educator and been in the classroom about 17 years now. And so very passionate about education. Like, I wish that this wasn't a topic that I was familiar with, because to be familiar with it, is to know pain. It's to know what navigating life without your people looks like. When I say your people, I just mean your loved ones, people that you're close to on whatever level. That can be in a lot of different ways. And so having been in this position, it's kind of like, what does that look like? What does moving through these important moments where there's traditions and all this other stuff, what does that look like? So
Thank you for sharing. Now, You just released your new podcast. Can you give us some more information about that?
I can. So my podcast has been years in the making. It's called the Thanksgivers Podcast. And to get, more details on the background, you'd have to listen to episode 1, where I kind of give some of that background for it. The podcast, for the first season of it, the theme is gratitude and grief. And I was going in a different direction with it first. And then a few years back, my family experienced a significant loss. And so I just was stuck. And so I was actually supposed to be done with the podcast as far as releasing it like over a year ago, even over 2 years ago. But once that happened, I had to figure out how to be able to move forward. And so what I did was I interviewed guests, all of whom I know and have known for varying lengths of time, but all people close to me, and talked to them about their experiences with grief. And the season ends with me sharing my own experience with grief. As all this time has passed since I was supposed to have finish the season, there's been even more things that have taken place, other losses that have been experienced that have just kind of added to the topic for me. So it's been a really, I don't know, a really tender experience, I would say, being trusted with other people's stories, particularly because I know the women that I interviewed. So just remembering what those moments were like for them, having witnessed them in real time, and then also just considering what my own walking through those things has looked like. So.
Well, you heard it here first. The Thanksgivers Podcast is released. Jamia Lewis will be a featured panelist at Girl Talk this Sunday, December 17th from 6 to 8, $5 online, $10 at the door. Make sure you tap in if you know someone that's in need of this topic. Clearly, we have people who have walked through this who can help guide you. We're going to have some resources some counselors, experts in this field. Jamia is definitely one of them. So I'm looking forward to partnering with her. And it's going to be a safe space for all of us to fellowship. That's what Girl Talk is about. So it's female leaders coming together and finding hope, encouragement, strength in sisterhood. And I'm blessed that Jamia has been a sister for 20 years and has taught me the value of sisterhood. So thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And we will see you guys on Sunday.
Well, as I was sharing, you do a loss history graph and you start with your first conscious memory and you look at all the losses that you have ever suffered in your life and the emotional impact. And therefore, you have a snapshot of your losses and you can look at that graph and then determine which loss you should work on. So through that 8-week comprehensive program, Grief Recovery Method, yes, we do totally see a transformation. One of the things we say in the Grief Recovery Method program is when your heart is broken, your head doesn't work right. And oftentimes when individuals aren't really aware that they're suffering grief from a particular loss, they don't make the decisions and the best decision and choices that they can make for their life. So therefore, with the comprehensive Grief Recovery Method program, that allows them to do that and to look at loss totally in a different way and to work through the grief.
I agree. I think I did something similar after my mom transitioned. I remember reading a book and doing the timeline, and I was able to see different points in my journey where it was just difficult. And that was helpful because I was able to see patterns in my life and being spiritually led, able to see just how God was moving in my life in that way. And then what you shared about how we can grieve over different things made me think about a blogger I read years ago talking about grieving even during good times, because she had transitioned into marriage and just grieving the loss of her name, grieving this old identity that she had before her husband took her picture. And so even though it was good stuff happening, there were little things that she was leaving behind. That was a change, and there was still some change, grief attached to that. So I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
Now,
As I said, it was very, very helpful for me. I was going through a divorce at the time and just a very hard and difficult situation. And it's not an easy program to go through, yet it's very beneficial. I could definitely say that it was helped me to look at a whole lot of things, not just the particular loss of a particular lifestyle, going from being married to being divorced, but even what led up to the choices that I made in that whole situation.
so very revelatory. Now, do you guys get an influx of people during the holidays who need your services?
Well, I would answer that and say no. And the reason why, as I said, it's a very comprehensive program. And to encourage individuals to make an 8-week commitment can be challenging, especially during the holidays when individuals are busy doing other things, yet they're dealing with depression or sadness. Maybe a loved one has passed on. The holiday season is not the same because of the loss of that loved one. Yet what individuals do, what we call, the term that we use is STERBs, STERBS, short-term energy relieving behaviors. So rather than individuals dealing with the internal temperature that's going on in the inside that may be causing the sadness or the grief or the depression, they themselves in short-term energy relieving behaviors, busying themselves. It could be going out shopping, actually spending money in a way to avoid the pain and doing something that might give a rush at that moment that you're out shopping. Or some individuals church can be a stir. For me, that was one of the things I learned about myself going through my process as a believer. I just delved into going to church, but not really dealing with the real pain that I was dealing with, but a short-term energy relieving behavior. So to answer your question, we don't see more individuals just all of a sudden saying, hey, I'm going to go through the grief recovery process because I'm dealing with this issue or this sadness. I'm not feeling the joy that oftentimes individuals seem to expect during the holiday season, and they just delve into other things to temporarily cover up the sadness that they feel, unfortunately.
Man, you really hit the nail on the head, especially being faith-based, how we can kind of hide in these acts and run from our grief. I definitely felt I was doing that in my journey. I just really wrestled with my own identity as a believer. I was struggling so much emotionally. Shouldn't I believe person's in a better place? All that rhetoric. So we're definitely going to tap into those things at our upcoming Girl Talk. Is there anything you would like to share with our audience regarding the upcoming Girl Talk that you're excited about discussing or you're looking forward to?
Oh, yes. I'm very, very much looking forward to Sunday and just talking about a topic that can be difficult to talk about, especially when everyone around you seems like they're just so happy and thrilled and meeting with families. Yet the reality is there's a lot of broken families, a lot of stress, a lot of heartache and pain. So I commend you, Nicole, for tackling a topic that can be difficult and to tackle it head on to help the audience to know that grief is a normal, natural response to loss. And in this world, we have many, many, many losses, and it's okay. And once we're able to work through that grief and acknowledge the loss and the emotional impact of that loss, we actually can return to fully loving again, because our inability to deal with grief can prohibit our ability to love fully. So I'm looking forward to Sunday and just providing the information in a platform that's open and genuine and honest, where individuals can work through any difficulties they're having during the holiday season.
Thank you, Miss Gloria.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I just wanted to do this live real quick with my girl Butter. We are at her studio, Ink Therapy Studio, and she's going to be a featured panelist for our next Girl Talk. I will let her introduce herself.
Hey, I'm Butter, owner of Ink Therapy Studio in Bedford Heights in the Zeppies Plaza. Here we do tattoos, permanent makeup, tooth gems, teeth whitening, and sometimes host events like Girl Talk.
Yes, so as you guys know, quarterly we've been doing Girl Talk, where we feature female leaders in the Cleveland area and beyond, and we tackle pretty intense topics. The next topic is going to be dealing with grief at the holidays. So definitely excited that Butter is going to be a featured panelist, but also she's going to have the space that we're going to be at for our very first in-person Girl Talk. So Butter, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? Like, how did you get this space? What led you into being an entrepreneur? All the things.
I think I've just been naturally an entrepreneur since I was younger. I think I get it from my mama. She's always pushing me to just do everything I can. But being a single mom is what drives me the most, is because I always needed additional income or things to do to be creative, not to only provide for my children, but to show them another path. Being a single mom, you have to show that type of strength. So I think that kind of pushed me to not only help them, but teach them as well. And then they could see the ins and outs of everything that I do.
That is very inspiring. I definitely can relate. I was raised in a single parent home. I saw my mother just trying to make ends meet, her mother trying to make ends meet. They're definitely motivators for me with what I do as well. So I could just see the inspiration you are.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
So can you give us a little bit of feedback as to your journey in entrepreneurship? What have been some challenges and obstacles that you've had to overcome to maintain?
I think a lot of people can relate to doing things alone, because I came in blindsided. I didn't get like a degree or anything like that. So this was all off of pure passion. Artistry is my passion. I've been an artist gifted since I was a kid. Didn't go to school for it. So everything I had to research, gain information, ask a lot of questions. And some of the challenges would be trying to find those answers, because the internet can't get you everything or confirm some things. I wanted people to help me, like kind of one-on-one from their experience. And sometimes that can be difficult when someone doesn't have good intentions on trying to help you because they find you as competition. So I went through a lot of mistakes getting this place. It was the pandemic. There was no grants that I could get, no loans, no PPP. Like, I couldn't get the scammers to scam me. So it was like I had to really work hard and just pray over it. So, but it's all worth it in the end.
Very inspiring, and I definitely relate to not having that degree. I have degrees in business, but I'm a writer and a creative, and I never got a degree in journalism, in writing. And so everything that's unfolded in my story has been self-taught and tapping into workshops and doing due diligence.
Yes.
And of course having a natural gift. And I think when we're creatives and we're artists, it's even more of a testimony when you're able to make it as a business person, because a lot of creatives and artists don't have that business savvy or admin background. So the fact that you have a brick and mortar and you're out here in Bedford holding it down as a Black female tattoo owner is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
And especially when you talk about those who you want to mentor you or to coach you, I definitely had my little feelings hurt a few times where I'm like esteeming them, like, you know, can you put me on, can you help me out? And they have ulterior motives because they're threatened by the competition. Right. And it's so sad. And one thing I took away from that is I don't want to be like that for anyone else. Like if someone is coming behind me and they need resources and they need guidance, I want to help edify them, you know. So
yes, and for the ones that did help me, because I don't have like such a sob story when it comes to that. It inspired me to want to pass that on, because if you're so open-hearted to say, hey, I have the information for you, I want to see you succeed and do great, let me just show you this, you know, with great intentions. That makes you want to say, like, we can all get this, we can all do this, and no one has to lose. Like, there's enough for everyone, so there's no reason to be selfish and not share those blessings that you have to be able to pass on something. Plus, we're not going to be here forever, right? So,
and I love that, because that's what Girl Talk is about. It is about us coming together, us creating a space where we have values that we all align with, and we want to edify each other in dialogue and create a safe space for women leaders. I think about a podcast I heard recently where the woman was like, it's not about getting your piece of the pie. Everybody has their own pie. And that's what I hear you saying. It's like, we can all get it. We can all get our own pie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. Since our upcoming topic with Girl Talk is dealing with grief, what are some nuggets or things that you might want to share with people so that, you know, they know what they're in for when they come and RSVP on Eventbrite?
I think they could look forward to connections. It's good to know when you're feeling something that you're not the only one going through that.
Yeah.
That you don't necessarily need to hear the full story of something for someone, but there's always something that you be able to take from that can help you. I think it's really important that we can say, hey, me too. I feel you, I understand, and I got through this and you can too. Because I think all of us, especially being older now, that we've experienced grief, no matter which way it came. I've definitely dealt with my share.
Yeah.
And so it's a really touchy subject, and this time of year is extra sensitive to me. And so I think for everyone, they feel a lot more depression, a lot more stress, a lot more anxiety, and heavy grief. So I think the connections with the women and some men that may want to watch or come and see, because men are welcome. Please come, because men are not the only ones that, you know, you don't just hold in your emotions. It's important to be transparent. So I think with that, it will be a lot helpful. And then just you may meet someone, you know, that you can maybe talk to, or just to release something.
And I feel like you hit the nail on the head when you say connection. Because for me, my journey has been having sisters, having a tribe, having these friends who I've been on a journey with, who are like-minded and who empathize. And even though I'm an only child and I don't have a close-knit family or blood sisters, I found that outside of my family, my blood family, and have been the beneficiary of it. And I think that when we're isolated, we can easily be picked off. And you mentioned, you know, this time of year where a lot of us are dealing with loss and grief and just seasonal depression. My girl Ari Baker, who's also a Girl Talk member, was just talking about that yesterday at her event, and she's a nurse. And so there's a lot, but when we come together, we can nourish each other, we can be affirmed, you can leave feeling lighter. And that's really the goal, is to not leave the same way we came in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That exchange of energy is very important. So when you're down, you don't want to come around people and consume their dark cloud as well. You want to be able to provide light, and it's better if you're trying to be strong for someone, because it may give you some strength too.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. To continue the conversation, Join our Girl Talk community by following @GirlTalkCLE on Instagram and Facebook.com/HTOHB, where you can join the Girl Talk Facebook group. You can follow me personally on Instagram @HTOHB, on Facebook.com/HTOHB, and at YouTube.com/@HTOHB. Feel free to reach out via email info@indiemillerpublishing.com. If you're a writer who wants to take the next steps into becoming a published author, you can book a one-on-one consultation at indiemiller.pub. Just let me know you heard about my publishing house through Girl Talk, and I'll give you a 50% discount on our one-on-one. If you'd like weekly inspirational nuggets, you can subscribe to my blog and monthly newsletter at NicoleDmiller.com, where you can learn more about me and my writings.